Welcome, everyone. Let me share my screen here. All right, there are some instructions on the screen. We'll spend a couple minutes on this. I love it. People are saying where they're from in chat. Please feel free to do that. And if you would like, share what you teach. Math and science, ESL. I have a feeling we have a wide range here, so it's really good to know. As you're joining, be sure that you have a couple pieces of paper nearby. You'll want a couple sticky notes if you can get them. If not, paper is fine. And then pens or markers or colored pencils. The more colorful, the better. All right, let's get started. So, you are here today to learn about teaching across skill levels. This is definitely a challenge. When we're teaching, we have a wide range of skills that we need to accommodate. So, if you would please follow the instructions on the screen. And I do want to let you know if we have anybody with accessibility needs, please let us know. I am comfortable reading out this, instructions on the screen, but when I do that, you can't process in both ways, so I tend to let you read them. So in the chat box, I love it. I know it takes patience. Ooh, you've got some good learners. More advanced learners are eager to assist lower levels. That's great. Students learn from each other. Flexibility is key, absolutely. Respect everyone. Some great things here. See, you guys already know a lot about teaching different skill levels. So you're here to pick up a couple of additional best practices. So, just to highlight, I'm Nicole Fleming. I'm a trainer, director of TBR community, but you're not here to learn about me. So, let's jump right into the content. So, as we do that, in all of the sessions I lead, I have some suggestions for success. And those are just suggestions to make sure that all of us have a successful experience today. If you've got your post-it notes handy, you can get 3 of those. And as we go through, you can write and draw the image on each one of the post-it notes. So the first one here is take care of self. If you'd like to write that on one of the post-it notes and draw a heart. So take care of self means that I am encouraging you to do whatever it is that you need. If you need to stand, if you need to have some tea or water available so that you can pay attention, if you need a short break, please do whatever it is that you need to do so you can listen and pay attention best. Here's the second one. the right to pass. So if you'd like to write the right to pass, RIGHT, and draw the ticket there. Now, I'm not going to ask you to do anything too crazy today. We're going to stick with chat and interaction in that way. But I want you to know if there's ever anything that I ask you to do that you're not comfortable with, you have the right to pass on it. And this is something that I give in all of my classes. Now, the right to pass is actually a really amazing tool. When you give people choice and the right to opt out of an activity, they actually feel more comfortable participating. Now, here's the third thing: do two hard things. And those are rocks there. So I would encourage you, if you can today, to do two hard things. And this is not just in my session, it might be throughout the whole day today. Now, this is something that you can do with your own learners. What I have some pretty colored, polished rocks, and I encourage my learners to stretch outside of their comfort zone a little bit and have them do two hard things. And once they do one hard thing, they can choose a rock and have that to keep. And this is just a great reminder that learning isn't always comfortable. Learning involves hard things, and it's important to encourage our learners to stretch and do those things. So, those are three suggestions that I have for you. They're also great suggestions that you can take back and use with your learners. So, if you would follow the instructions on the screen, your cameras are off, so feel free to stretch in a way that works for you. You don't have to, of course, you have the right to pass. Now, let's get into the 4 best practices for a range of skills. And these are suggestions that I have, but I'd also like to hear from you. So you'll get 4 suggestions from me and more from the group. For this first part, you will need a piece of paper and a pen or one of your colored pencils, and you will draw a window pane. It might look something like this. Your lines don't have to be that nice and straight, it's okay. But you will need 4 boxes on your sheet of paper. Or if all you have nearby is post-it notes, that'll work too. So I'll give you a few seconds to do that. All right, let's finish those up. I know some of you are reaching for that ruler or that straight edge to get them perfect. So I'll give you a few seconds to finish that. Now, the first best practice is this one. So, safe and supportive learning environment. Now, what I would like you to do is this. On another piece of paper or the back of the one you've started, I'm going to give you 60 seconds. So don't start yet. We'll all do it together. All right, so you have 60 seconds to list everything that you can think of that helps your learners feel safe and supported. Go. You have about 20 seconds left. And stop. Hopefully, you got some good ideas written down on your paper. Now, in your first box on your window pane, I would like you to write safe and supportive learning environment or a shortened version of that. And I would like you to draw an image that represents that to you. Could be a heart, it could be something else. So in box number 1 on your paper, write safe and supportive learning environment, and then draw an image that represents that to you. All right, once you finish with that, I would like you to write these 3 suggestions in the box. So we've already done the right to pass. That was every student has the right to opt out of an activity, take care of self, do what it is that you need to learn. If you need to stand, if you need to quietly fidget, whatever it is that you need to pay attention, do that. And my third suggestion is to start low risk. So we started with a brainstorm activity, which is very low risk. You want to start with activities that people feel comfortable participating in. Now, I know some of you put some ideas into chat. That's great. What I would love for you to do is to put one of your ideas in from your brainstorm, but don't hit enter yet. So type it in, but then don't hit enter. We'll send them all through at once. So add one idea that you either wrote down in your brainstorm or one idea that you know works well for creating a safe and supportive learning environment. And then we'll all send them through at once. All right, you have 3, 2, 1. Hit enter now. I love that. Smile, consistency, humor, speed dating, one-on-one conversations with a short duration, active listening, no judgment. There are some great ones here. I can't read them all out. So if you see a couple of extra ideas into the chat here that your colleagues wrote, and those work well for them and you think they might work for your students, feel free to write those down too. Now, we just did a chat storm. We call it a chat storm because when we all hit enter together, all of the ideas just storm through all at once. It's a kind of fun and different way to use chat. If you're doing virtual sessions, that's a great one to add. All right. Our number 2 best practice is this. Just as you bring prior knowledge and experience with this topic, your learners bring that prior knowledge and experience as well. And what we know from neuroscientists is that when we start with what people already know, and we build on that, it's much easier to learn. So that is what we want to do with all of our lessons. So in box number 2, write something similar to build on prior knowledge and experience, and draw a simple image that represents that to you. Could be a couple of boxes. You could draw a foundation of a house. All right, now that you have that written and your image drawn, two suggestions for building on prior knowledge are a brainstorm, which you've done. So, writing everything you know about the topic in 60 seconds or so. And then starting with a question the learners have is also a great technique. Now, you guys all teach very different things, and I would love to hear from you. Once you have these written down, think about the topic that you will be teaching, and if you have a specific way to build onto prior knowledge, put that into chat for us. So, what ideas do you have for building onto the current experience or prior knowledge that your learners bring to the classroom? Put those ideas into chat for us. So we have case studies and relating their interests and culture, asking questions about past learning experiences. Absolutely. Conversations of history, reviewing previous lessons before moving on. Great ideas here. Starting a new topic, we'll show a photo. All right, so some great additional opportunities here for building on prior knowledge and experience. So if you see some of those that you think will work for yourself, please add those to your box there. Okay, let's move on to our third best practice. All right, so before we add this to our window pane, we're going to do a quick movement true or false activity. So what I would like you to do is to do the instructions on the screen. So you have choice here, any movement that you would like for true and any movement that you would like for false. It could be a thumbs up, a thumbs down. You could get crazy and, stand up and do a T with your body or an F, however that looks right for you. Any movement that works for you. Okay? Are we ready? So I'm going to flip to the next slide. There's a statement on the screen, and I would like you to read it and then do your movement. So, what do we think? Is this true or is this false? Do your movement. And you don't know these, so don't feel bad about getting them wrong. This is new information for you. So, providing different supports, is that fair when everybody's working towards the same outcome? Yes, it is fair. That is true. All right, here's the next one. Do your movement for true or your movement for false based on what you think it is. This one is false. So this one's a little tricky. It should make the uh, the activity easier for those who need it, but it shouldn't make the thinking easier. We still want the thinking to be slightly challenging. Here's the next one. Do we think this one is true or false? Do your movement. This one is true. What about this one? This one is false. Here's the next. All right, do your movement. Do we think this is true or false? This one is true. I think this is the last one. What about this one? So let me explain extension activities. These are extra activities that you have available for learners. And this one is true. One more here. I think you know this one already. Have you done your movement? This one is false. Oh, we get a bonus one. What do we think about this one? This one is true. We don't need to give busy work. We should be giving additional opportunities that allow your learners to really dive in deeper and, hopefully apply their learning. So your box number 3 of your window pane. So design multiple entry points, and I have a cube here with multiple doors. That one was a really hard one to find an image for. So draw an image that works for you. It might just be a door. And here are the suggestions for designing multiple entry points. Now with a choice, what you might do is if you're teaching language or math, you might offer additional opportunities for people to do work. So with language, you may offer them the word bank, and it's their choice whether to use it or not. So if they think they need some additional support, some scaffolding, they can use the word bank. And this is where the challenge comes in. Remember, I challenged 2 hard things. And what you're doing is you're building up your learners to do things outside of their comfort zone. So if they've been using the word bank and they're getting comfortable with completing activities in that way, this is where you encourage them to maybe start doing it without the word bank. If it's math and um, you're providing some of the formulas, you may give them multiple formulas. They have to choose the right one. And then the scaffolding from that is to have them remember the formula. So you're building in different entry points for people based on what they need. And with adult learners, you might offer pre work and extensions. So the pre work might be some foundational activities that you suggest they complete before coming to the class. Now, not everybody is going to do those, but you have offered the opportunity to, brush up on skills before they come. And if people are nervous about coming and not having that foundational knowledge, you've given them a way to brush up on that. And extensions, we've already sort of talked about. These are additional activities, not just busy work. This is a deeper dive into applying the content. And this is something that when people finish the activity you've given them, they don't just sit there doing nothing or distracting other learners. It can be putting their skills to work. And those are great ways for designing multiple entry points. Now, what other ideas do you have that apply directly to what you're going to be teaching? I've given you a math example, and I've given you, possibly like a ESL example. What other thoughts do you have that could work for this? You can put it into chat. So while you're doing that, the choice part, did you notice that when we did the true or false, I let you choose the movement? Nobody else knew what your movement was. And so if you got it wrong, it did not call attention to you getting it wrong. And that's also a really great way to allow for choice and to build the safe and supportive learning environment. So have them assist other students. For ELL students, have them share answers in their own language. Oh, you're learning as well as teaching. Very nice. Ensure that accessibility tools are available, such as screen readers. Absolutely. Allowing them to create exams and quizzes that they can use when they study. Absolutely. Um, this four box window pane is a graphic organizer, and having students create something like this is another scaffold. So, providing ways to do a text draw for the research, absolutely. So, some great suggestions here that you can also add to that box. Flashcards, very nice. Word banks for pharmacy choice, very nice. So, some really nice examples here. All right, box number 4 is this. So you can add something similar to this, learn with and from each other in box number 4, and either two stick figures or chat bubbles, a quick image that represents that for you. All right, and now for the suggestions for box number 4. You guys have already shared one of these. So we have do one, teach one, and guided partner practice are my suggestions. So do one, teach one means, like in math, if you were going to do one of the equations, everyone would do it themselves, and then you would partner up your learners, and you would have each learner teach their partner how they did it. So that is do one, teach one. And you guys have already listed teach each other, learn from each other. So that is that one. And the guided partner practice, this one comes from a pair programming idea. So, with pair programming, what you do is you partner people up, and the one partner tells the other partner exactly what to do. So, they walk them through each step in the process. And the partner doing the work only does what the partner who's telling them the steps tells them to do. And when you teach someone else to do something, it helps you understand it even better. Now, this You see why we're talking about a safe and supportive learning environment before all of this. That is key to getting to this last best practice. When you are having people teach each other and learn from each other, that's a higher risk activity. So please make sure that you really build in that safe and supportive learning environment, offer the right to pass if needed. And one way to do this safely is called rubber ducking. I don't know if you've ever heard of this, but what you can do is you can find a rubber duck, or you can even teach it to a pet or any object, and you teach it to that rubber duck. And that is a safe way to do it. When you tell your learners that they need to explain it to someone else, them just thinking through how they would do that helps them learn it better. So they don't actually have to do it with another person. So those are some lower risk activities that you can do if they're not quite built up to teaching each other or doing the guided partner practice. Now, I would love to hear from you. What other activities work well from learning with and from each other? What have you done? So just discussions, yeah. Jigsaw puzzle teaching, absolutely. Any other ideas? Grouping students for labs? Yep. And yes, building mutual care for each other is what makes it successful. So make sure you're doing that first. All right. Thank you for adding those suggestions. It's great to not only learn from me, but to learn from each other. Now, I don't know if you noticed, I do things slightly out of order here. We're not at the very end, but I do want to thank you for joining me today. And I also want to let you know that the content for this session is made with training from the back of the room techniques. So that's the interactive strategy that I'm using. And you will have information here to contact me, ask questions if you would like. And I would also challenge you, if you were curious about any of those true or false statements, maybe you got some of them wrong, or you were curious about the science behind them. I normally give information like that out, but I'm going to challenge you today to do that research on your own. So those are in the slides. You'll get a PDF of the slides that you can download. If you were curious about any of them, please go look those up. Now, we have a couple more activities here. So what I would like you to do is share an emoji with us. How are you feeling now that we're wrapping up the session? So if you have an emoji you can give us, text is fine too. I love it all. We have a dancer there, very nice. Some yoga, we're feeling zen. Very nice. Thank you for that. Feeling relieved. I love it. Some of us aren't sure. We've got the crazy eyes there. That's okay too. All right. So you will need either another piece of paper for this last activity, or if you didn't write the brainstorm activity on the back of your window pane, you can use that too. So you'll divide your paper into 4 different sections. Oh, and we've got a very nice. I love the emojis. All right, this next activity, Foursquare feedback. Let me explain how you will do this here. So we have about 8 minutes left. These are the things that I would encourage you to write out in your four square feedback. Now, I have numbers here. I wasn't entirely sure how much time we would still have left. So the one is highest priority. Start with that one first. The two is next priority, then the three and four. So let's take our final 8 minutes here. Start out with these sentences and then finish off your thoughts there. So start with the one thing I plan to use is, and ideally this would come from this session, but it's okay to include content from earlier sessions as well. So this is just going to be quiet time. And if you'd like, you can put thoughts in the chat as well. All right, I'm going to be quiet here and let you write. We do have Lindsay in the background here. I have a question for you, Lindsay. Feel free to put the answer into chat. There are some wonderful ideas in the chat. Do we have a way to capture those and share those with the attendees? Or do they need to look through the chat and make sure that they write everything they're interested in now? Do you know, Lindsay?
I don't have an answer off the top of my head. I
Okay.
do believe we can capture the chat. I might be able to send it to everybody. I'll have to think that one through.
Okay. So you may want to scroll back through. So write your sentence starters, finish maybe one and two. And then if there were some thoughts in chat you really wanted to capture, scroll back through now and make sure that you capture those. And we'll do our best to get this chat to you as well. So thank you for putting your ideas into chat. Melancholy Lewis, I love that. So I didn't even teach the graphic organizer, but you picked up on that and plan to use it. That's great. Graphic organizers are so valuable. I have a class for students, and one of my graphic organizers is octopus arms. So you can really be creative with them. Brenda likes the four squares. Very nice. The do one, teach one idea. It's a great activity. You can do that in different ways as well. So if you're doing math or language, you can do it on a whiteboard. You can get people up and moving. I don't know if you noticed, I encouraged a lot of movement in my session. And if you have learners who have some prior baggage coming with them, one way to get the adrenaline out and to make them feel more comfortable is often movement. Ah, plan to do two hard things and the right to pass. So we have the four squares. Tamika is torn between the graphic organizer as well as the movement. Love it. So we have about 2 minutes left. I would absolutely love it if you do put some of these into practice and you want to reach back out to me and let me know how it went. I would absolutely love to hear it. I promise if you email me, I will write you back. But if you do want to share that, that would make my day, to be honest. So Brenda's going to use take care of self, and we have learning with and from each other by building on their ideas. Very nice. Well, I will close with you now. Feel free to spend another minute writing if you would like, but thank you. Thank you for your attention, your thoughts in the chat. It was great learning from you guys, and I really appreciate it. Have a great school year. My contact, Jennifer, my contact will be in the PDF of the slides that you can download. Bye, everyone. Thank you.